And this is what we need to get workers ready for, because that transformation doesn't just happen once, it happens continually.
Well, thanks for having me to the team. I appreciate it. Let's get our panel up here. ADP's President of Global Product and Innovation, Srini Khattum, ADP Chief Economist and ESG Officer, Neela Richardson, and Accenture's CEO of the Americas, Manish Sharma. So look, I'm about, I think, 97 conversations in so far in Davos on how AI might impact the workforce, but you're the expert on this. Level set for this room, what is the state of the global workforce almost, 2 years in to AI penetrating so many different companies?
In a word, unprepared. I know there's a lot of optimism in these mountaintops. I've heard it from all of you who've had conversations. But that optimism is not extending to the workforce when it comes to their feelings of preparedness. And we know this because we talk to the workforce all the time at ADP. It's about that human connection that Maria spoke about in her intro remarks. That's what we're trying to capture with data. And so we surveyed 38,000 workers in over 34 countries to ask them how they feel about AI. It's one thing to hear it here, but how does it hit home on Main Street? And we found that only 24% of the workforce feels like they have the skills they need to get the next level job in the next 3 years. 24%. Now, 2/3 of those people that we sampled, they have some kind of advanced degrees, some kind of post-secondary education beyond high school. And yet, even for the most advanced degree holders, those people who do have some kind of education, either vocational or a bachelor's degree, only 27% of them, 27% of them, they're probably all Gen Z, but 27% of them feel prepared for the next level job. 18% of people who don't have any advanced degree feel like they can compete and can grow their careers. So what that leaves us with is a huge opportunity right before us all at Davos. The people who actually hire people and have the ability to train the workforce. Our workers are telling us only 17% of them think that their companies, their employers are investing in their skills. And we have the data at ADP that says that only 4% of the workforce in the United States gets trained in the first 2 years of employment. So we've only just begun. We're 2 years in. We got a lot more to do.
I can't help myself and ask the follow. Is AI and what you're seeing on the tech front, is it good for the economy? Is it a job creator?
Of course, it has to be, because technology is the way the economy advances. There's only like 2 ways: more workers, and those workers get more productive. It took me 2 years of graduate school to get those 2 sentences out. That's basically what they teach you in macro, but you can sum it up very easily. And that's the only way a business grows. That's the only way an economy grows. So technology is not the enemy, but doing it smartly, strategically, and having a skilled workforce that goes along with that technology is an imperative.
Srini, I imagine you have an interesting perspective on this as an engineer, right?
Yes.
Well, share it with the room.
I did not pay her to say that. And also as a recovering CHRO, no, I'm not. I'm just joking. I completely concur with Neela on that one.
Where do you see some of these early stages in terms of AI? Where does the impact? Is it really lower end jobs, as we're hearing a lot about here on the ground?
I think AI is kind of like, if you think about calculators to computers, fax machines to emails, personal computing was a big moment in the evolution, if you think about it, similar to cars, trains, et cetera, et cetera. So I think AI is going to touch every particular job function out there. That's how I see it. To Neela's point, net, business has been good. Capitalism is generally okay in terms of adding growth compared to, you got to take a macro view, 50 years, 10 years, 20 years, etc. History moves decades at a time. So if you take a macro view like that, I'm big optimistic on technology and AI in particular. The way I see it is AI probably is going to be more like task automation rather than job automation. That's how I see it. And micro agents are going to be more popular and more adopted in the short term. Long term, it's going to be net job creation. That's how I see it.
What's a micro agent?
So
I've heard agent. Now, what's a micro agent? Because I feel already like I've missed something.
so it's really a tiny work activity in micro agent can do. That's all it can do. Whereas what I call it a super agent is an orchestration layer that can call upon these micro agents because the super agent knows what sequence of tasks that needs to get done. And as soon as the micro agent work is done, it comes back to the human for validation and verification. Can I go forward? So in my view, in the HR tech space, that's how I see the world.
Manish, you have any of these micro agents at your company?
Plenty of them.
Well, how are they impacting your workforce?
I think I want to give few stats first before
Fire
we
away.
go there.
Love stats.
I think it's good to kind of regroup, in terms of, and this is like latest research on, this is on Pulse of Change research. We are launching it in Davos. First finding, which is there, and I'm having a note so that at least this is the only part I'm going to refer to something because I want to be very accurate about this, is leaders feel their organization are less prepared for disruption in 2025 as compared to 2024. Less prepared. That's point one. Second, and like I am more focused on Americas, right? But only 4 in 10 North America employees say that they understand to a great extent the potential value of Gen AI. 4 in 10. C-suite, 5 in 10. So 10% higher. Finding 3, 96% of North America C-suite leaders say their employees have received AI training. 96%. Whereas only 80% of the employees feel that they have got the training. And the last one, I think, is although employees feel unprepared, over 60% of North America C-suite leaders expect that Gen AI solutions to scale, within their organization. So, which is a 23% improvement from last year. So you can just see, I think, the level of preparedness to what Nela mentioned. I think it is going to be a journey, for companies.
Well, how could companies prepare their workforces?
I think the employees are feeling stress. They're worried about their job security. And they're also worried about the outputs that are being generated from Gen AI, the trust on that front. And I think the biggest opportunity right now is upskilling, around the employees so that they can feel comfortable. So I think the change management and education, upskilling is going to be the key. Otherwise, and that is, I'm talking about the human aspect, because you still need to get your data ready, right? Because most of the companies, while they talk about good game about Gen AI and everything else, very unlikely that they can take the leap because their data is just not ready. So your data is not ready, your employees are not ready, but we want to get always jazzed by the word Gen AI on this.
So what's the, let me get back to what's the impact on wages? As AI permeates offices, gets away with some job or does away with some jobs, what does that mean for wages in the overall economy?
It's not so much that these changes, people have this reference point of production and manufacturing in the industrial age, but this is a digital transformation. The dissemination mechanism is completely different. We're not talking about a machine, we're talking about a platform in which you build others. This is what I learned from Eric. You build other technology upon. And so it has a different hook into the worker. It's not so much the jobs. Yes, there will be jobs that are automated, but it's more that parts of the job will be transformed. And this is what we need to get workers ready for, because that transformation doesn't just happen once, it happens continually. And so it's changing the mindset. I'm an economist. I do these certain tasks. No, I'm an economist and I have an evolving list of tasks that change over months. That's the workforce of tomorrow. So yeah, workers are not prepared for that. I don't think any of us are prepared for that. Your jobs, you'll keep them, Jonathan.
Hey,
You'll
there we
keep
go.
them,
Nice.
Brian.
Appreciate you.
But they will change, and that's what we have to be prepared.
Wait, can you confirm? We still getting that jobs report from
Actually,
ADP, right?
maybe you should sync that up with your organization.
Yeah, okay. I appreciate, but the ADP report is still good. I mean, but the task report, I mean, you may bring up a good point. Data is going to have to change, right? And how we analyze the data.
Well, I think of data like flour. I mean, it's terrible to eat and it's not that great for you. But when you take that data and you run it through a process, a system of data security, a product, of solution making, you have the kind of cake that people like to eat. And so we kind of just lump data into all kinds of like all data is good. No, some data is just exhaust. It's the stuff that comes out of a company doing business. You don't want to touch it. But if you can transform that data into something palatable, something interesting, that's something that nourishes, then you have a secret to thriving as a company.
Srini, let me get over to you. How difficult is it to implement certain AI into businesses, and how disruptive is it to everyday operations of companies?
You have to be strategic about where do you want to put your focus. So as an example, within ADP, we said, let's focus on sales function. Let's focus on service function, implementation, and our own developers. So let's say those are the personas. And each persona, sales is all about, okay, who do I call? When do I call? What to say? 3 primary questions from a task enhancement standpoint. So basic questions that way, use the AI models to help. So when you do that way, whereas for developers, it's about, as a past developer, I can tell you that as a developer, I hate testing my own code. You're like, wait a second, I created this beautiful piece and you're asking me to break it. I can't do that. So we hate that. So now we can use AI to generate synthetic test cases that have huge coverage. Manually, it's impossible to do. So when you look at the persona and exactly what is the friction in the job activities that person does and use this latest technology to help that person, then the adoption is natural, organic, not top down. So that's something that we have done. So we got to be careful as a business to understand exactly what we want to focus on and then deliver that value. Once the value is delivered, adoption increases. That's something that we have observed.
Manish, what have you learned from these early stages of AI adoption and the impacts on the workforce? And how would you compare that to prior technological change? You know, what are the things you're taking away here? What are the comparisons and how are things different, I guess?
I think if I look at my own 30 years and I've gone through all the different segments of automation and everything else, I think this is probably the most transformative one, right? I think that's point one. The second one is it is also not easy to deploy. You got to get your data ready. People are running towards, like, you know, I've got clients who are asking, how can we deploy agentic AI, you know, into this? And I ask them, do you know what your people do? Do you know, like, do we have the right measurement analysis of what they are doing? And have you re-engineered your processes? Because you can't automate waste, which is what, like, right now I've got like 20 clients where I'm removing all the robos and the stuff that they have done to their processes because they automated waste. And that is the biggest, this thing that we probably see, that you don't have the right readiness to deploy AI and take advantage of it. And which comes back to the part which Neela was mentioning around our employees. Have we really created this situation for them to do this? And I think the other one that I'll do is all the others where automation waves where the outputs were trying to get efficiencies and cost reduction. In this case, while you have the piece around cost transformation and efficiencies, the biggest advantage that you get with this is, I think, higher customer sat, because you will be much more agile in responding to customer. You are going to see dramatic changes in the lead time to respond. You will see better controls, better compliances, better quality. So the transformative part this time is much, much higher. But the key question still is how many organizations are ready? Besides the upskilling, they don't have the digital core, they don't have the data part ready. So it's very difficult for them to really deploy and take advantage of this fantastic technology that is available to us.
Neil, maybe this one's for you. What's your biggest concern about AI in the workforce? Just listening to Manish, are companies really ready, and are employees ready?
Employees are ready for a company that invests in their skills. Employees are ready for a company where they feel like they can trust. When we look at the data, what what employees want, well, first of all, they want to keep their flexible hours. Let's not lie. That's the top
Oh, they want
priority.
hybrid all day, every day.
But the second thing they want is a company that invests in their careers and advances them. And we've also found through a decade of research with over 600,000 workers around the world that when you invest in a worker, that worker is more loyal to you. They're willing to hustle more for the business, and they report being more productive. So it pays off to the company. I think of people as the new globalization. It's not about trading goods and services. It's really about upskilling people and globalizing that way and having that human connection.
All right, let's go around the horn a little bit. Srini, I'll start with you. Your advice to workers as they prepare for, I don't know, a lot of this crazy stuff we're hearing about here today.
You can do it.
You could do it. Just warm up to microbots, right?
It's look, in short term, history tells us that we overestimate the impact of a new technology. In the long term, we underestimate the impact of that same technology. And humans are the best adaptive species. And there is a book called Wealth of Nations. One of the best economists. You're number one. He's number two. He's no longer alive. That 600-page book comes down to really self-interest. Nations, individuals, that is one of the biggest drivers. So if you show the value, any technology, people will adopt. So the burden is on all of us, employers, businesses, to show the value. If there is value, similar to the field of dreams, if you build, they will come. If there is value, they will adopt.
Neil, is that what I need to do? Just roll with it? If they come up with a AI TV anchor, I need to embrace it and just roll with it and see where it goes? Don't fear the AI TV anchor?
There's a variety of ways I can answer that. I think the advice that I would give to the workforce is, even as we talk about the importance of having a literacy around technology, and that's going to be really important no matter what your career, if you want to advance that career, soft skills still matter. So what I think AI does is sharpen what it means to be human in the workplace. You're starting to make these comparisons. Oh, AI is good at that. What am I good at? Can AI collaborate like I do? Can AI be a quirky economist like I can?
Not yet.
Maybe.
You're one of a kind.
But what do humans do well? And I know sometimes it's challenging to think what humans do well, but one thing we do well is we think creatively, we collaborate, we fail, we reassess, we think about each other on the fly. So if we can capture what it means to be human in the workplace, if those soft skills don't change, then even as we gravitate towards technology, it gives workers something to hold on to and something to perpetuate into this new world.
Manish, how about you? Best advice?
I think I'll go with one quote. Automation will destroy all the jobs in human mankind. When was this quote given?
This morning somewhere on a panel?
Probably 18th century.
1861.
I'm off by one
that was
century.
good. Okay,
And I think
I was
that's
off by
kind
a
of,
lot.
and I think, the jobs, new jobs get created, will continue to get created. Second one is anything that is measurable, repeatable, predictable, or transactional in nature should not be done by human beings. And I think this is the best opportunity to make your jobs really, really interesting and very different. So I think embrace it, learn it, and quickly get on. The jobs are not going anywhere. New jobs are going to get created.
What will innovation in the workforce look like to you, Manish?
Virtually, I have a different definition as compared to what Srini was saying, but you got, three types of agents which will come up: orchestration agents, super agents, and utility agents. And I think human beings will be the master of all the three agents, and they will architect a very new business process that we don't even know what it is today.
Neela, how about you?
I'm glad that Manish went first with that answer, so it gives me some time to, I don't think I could top what that looks like, but I'm going to say innovation looks like an increase in the standards of living for the workforce. It looks like productivity enhancements. It looks like higher wages and more self-fulfilling work. It looks like work with purpose. Like if innovation isn't tagged with other things that workers care about, then it won't lead to sustainability. We don't just want to innovate in the now, we want to sustain for the future. And that takes a workforce that's engaged in that process as much as the company's driving it.
Srini, one second. Let me follow up on that. Neela, we have a lot of folks in this room. I'm sure they have families, kids. I mean, how could the next generation workforce prepare for some of the changes that we're hearing today?
So my son, I have two sons. I have a 20-year-old and a 17-year-old, and the 17-year-old asks me, why are economists such bad forecasters? So for innovation looks like a better forecast. But I think the young people kind of are figuring it out on their own terms. Listening to, so we have 5 generations under one roof, and I always say leave no generation behind, but let's see what Gen Z comes up with. I can't predict my teenagers, so I can't speak for younger workers, but I do think that there's an opportunity to pair their friendliness with the digital world with their ability to pick up a phone and call somebody, which I really see there's a limitation there. How to make a reservation, how to ask for help over the phone, how to make human connection.
Soft skills.
Soft skills for Gen Z, especially those disrupted by the pandemic, is going to be a very important asset.
Srini, over to you. Innovation in the workforce.
I think innovation accelerates evolution. And the purpose of the human being or society in general is to do good. And I think innovation is proven to be one of the levers that help accelerate the good of the world.
Well said.
Actually, I got 2 more minutes. Neil, one more to you, because I just always love talking to you. I imagine you've been walking around here at the World Economic Forum. What has surprised you about the state of the economy, the global economy, based on all the talks you've been having?
I think there is a sense of resiliency in the global economy. But I think that that's going to be pressure tested by these 2 trends. One, we've talked about the productivity boom that we all see. We all see it coming. It's like the slow moving tidal wave that's going to catch steam. But we haven't talked about the demographics underlying that shift. The fact that advanced economies are retiring, they're getting older, and that the prime age workforce are moving to the places without data, without tech, and most importantly, without jobs and skills. So bridging that geographical boundary and that gap is going to be a conversation for this kind of environment because it's going to take the world to solve it.
All right, we'll leave the room thinking on that one. Neela, always nice to see you. Srini, good to meet you in person as well. Manish, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
Really.